you remember the old guy? His name I forget. Do you remember? Yes, you were there that first time we met. Perhaps some would call it misbehaving. I rather thought it was okay. When all accounts due are tallied, no reason to be bothered either way. It was not what I expected when I told him the reason for my name. That response was a bit cheesy, but I rather liked it just the same. He said no excuse for excuses, but there'll be no chance I'll chance to find the symphony he promised, the mention I deserve to his mind. Maybe he just wrote a simple love song and kept it to sing to me one day. He would probably pretend it's not about me or about anything. He really shouldn't say.
You asked why would I want to do that? Simple pleasures redefined. You asked where's the fun in that? Single measures every time.
Life rages within these walls, precarious and barely so slightly quaint. It's uncanny, word for word the same. Various dull images we paint. How to be a little unaesthetic, seek out the alternative norm. Eke out something relatively speaking, confirm you're unwilling to conform.
The person who is watching feigned indifference. Which part of irony is it you don't get? Was that fear or a touch of plain common sense? To avoid admitting it just yet.
Once again they'd overturn the order, spinning like a roar, spinning wheel. You would address your thoughts to camera, but find that doesn't quite appeal. Proud to be a little unexpected, seek out the
now nobody knows. The dormouse has an extraordinary tale, a bit like Shakespeare with a colloquial twist. The author turned an already bad day, the act trickery cheap with rain and mist.
The unworldly stream of an unoiled hinge impinges on the plot that he derived. The capacity for cruelty beyond imagination, which constitutes our ordinary lives. How to be a little unexpected, seek out the alternative, nor meek out something relatively speaking. Confirm you're unwilling to conform. She was his chosen Alice, uncertain which rule applies. Inadvertent indiscretion, not deliberate, it lies. The Red Queen has surrendered jurisdiction for this place. Thought police fortunate to resort to a slap across the face. Feeling less than easy about the way I feel, inarticulate, improper, so slightly down at heel.
She was his chosen Alice, uncertain which rule applies. Inadvertent indiscretion, not deliberate lies. The Red Queen has surrendered jurisdiction for this place. Thought police fortunate to resort to a slap across the face. Feeling less than easy about the way I feel, inarticulate, improper, so slightly down at heel. The hatter's getting fatter, incurring the March hare's wrath, and what you often suspected, the caterpillar was a moth. The time has come, the young man said, to talk how the nightmare nears. Is playing bowls with cabbages the worst or least of fears? Feeling less than easy about the way I feel, inarticulate, improper, so slightly down at heel. The crazy girl dancing a polka with a distinct lack of class. The lazy girl's looking directly through the looking glass. When the dance master leads the quadrille, does he do what the dodos do? The gardener plays the winning card, painting the roses blue. Feeling less than easy about the way I feel. Inarticulate, improper, so slightly down at heel. A movement the heroine betrays. From wind-blown moors and rain-swept booth tops, the carriages at midnight pull away. The ghost rider completely lost the plot. He writes a different story every day. Everything you once thought was magic, tragic lines for a once forgotten play. And Romeo will write a perfect love song and keep it to sing to her one day. He'll probably pretend it's not about her, not about anything he really wants to say. She's the blackness, she wraps a cloak around you, wraps it close to close out the night. A glimpse of gray smudges the perfect dark, the inevitable return of the light. Don't mistake her for Miss Goody Two-Shoes, you'll be heading for a nasty surprise. But vampires are so terribly last year, was that what you thought you recognized? And Romeo will write a perfect love song and keep it to sing to her one day. He'll probably pretend it's not about her, not about anything he really wants to say. decency. She is strictly of another kind. The dial that measures the latency tells you how far you'll be left behind. The storyteller, she's been telling tales again, some you might not choose to believe. Come now, gather round and flawed, hear the fabled deception she weaves. And somehow I write the greatest love song and keep it to sing to you one day. We'll probably pretend it's not about you, not about anything, anything, anything. I really wanna say